meeting. I love
Bonjour,
you.
papa.
Hi.
Comment ça va? Ça va?
Oui, ça va.
Et
Ah.
j'adore le chapeau. Chapeau, c'est beau.
Ah bon, t'aimes bien mon chapeau? Ben, c'est bien, tu
I
l'appelles un
know.
chapeau.
It's
OK.
beautiful. C'est très joli.
Uh-huh.
How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm in
How?
northern France. I went to buy flowers to put on the grave, and I'll be again at the graveyard tomorrow in honor of a cousin that died, but
Oh,
at the time. But I am making the journey in his honor today and tomorrow. So,
oh, okay.
and
Oh,
our journey has been a long journey, very long journey.
no. I
Ordered,
know.
talking about it earlier, a journey of trying to accommodate, trying to be adaptable, trying to be patient, trying
All
to.
of it.
That's right. That's
All
right.
of it. Yeah. I love your earrings.
They are my rickshaws. You know the story of the rickshaws. You know the rickshaws like the tuk-tuk in Cambodia and in
Oh,
Vietnam?
yeah, yeah. Oh, I love
Because I have,
them.
yeah, that's because I have built a hospital for children hurt by landmines, and I still do. I go there every year. So in their honors, I have the rickshaws on my ears.
Oh,
Voilà.
nice. I
Some
love
So
it.
people always say that, and I say, good, and I'll tell you why I have them. And hopefully we don't build those horrible bombs that kill children and parents playing in
I,
the garden.
I
Yeah.
know. But you're always doing that kind of work. You're always doing I guess it's philanthropic work.
Mm,
you're always helping
yeah.
people.
always helping people.
Yeah. It's so nice to meet you, Sally.
It's so nice to meet you.
Isn't it great?
So,
I'm so glad I thought of you guys. I thought of you as things were difficult on many levels, but also technically. I'm not very good and I get apprehensive. And the people at Fringe Arts have been so good saying, it's easy, relax, it'll be so easy. And
yeah.
Denise said the same. And yeah. Okay, so where do we go from there? That we are three gracers there, not, like some kind of a painting again. Where do we go from there? What do we want to share and how do we want to do that?
I was thinking about, you know, especially now because of this pandemic, I was thinking about I wanted to hear some of your story about your time in Morocco.
Oh,
Oh,
Had
one.
like,
I'm in but you were in Morocco. You sang
mm,
in Morocco.
yes, I did. I loved it. It was amazing. It was just it was an experience I'll never forget. And the food, oh my God.
A good tagine and a good couscous.
A good tagine and a great couscous.
Mm,
And
mm.
uh then the what do you call it? The souk. Going to the souk, the market.
Harima.
The market.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, that I think that Sally should comment on that because Sally is very professional and very not that we're not serious about food, but Sally is very serious in a very distinct way because it's a professional goal, correct? An
Yes.
Oh,
education.
right, because you're a nutritionist, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Ah, yeah.
Often inspires my art. Like today at our farmers market, we had these beautiful heirloom
Ooh,
tomatoes. Very
Yeah. Wow.
nice, nice.
brilliant, color and so sweet.
They're beautiful.
And some patty pan
Mm.
squash, which are just so fun.
Now, that's
Yeah,
I've
look
never
at
seen
that
squash like
yellow.
that.
The yellow.
That color.
Look at
Oh
that
my
yellow.
God.
That makes me think of. I was just I am near Lille, northern France, and I was just at the Matisse Museum in a town, Cateau, where Matisse was born. And Matisse was surrounded early in his childhood with people who love material. I mean, this part of France in the olden days had factories and workshop of gorgeous weaving and gorgeous colors, materials. So no wonder we have a Matisse who sends us with loads of painting. So that yellow that Sally was holding
I know.
made me think of the church in Vence in southern France with this amazing light pouring through. Maybe the word pouring is not correct because it is so delicate. So it is kind of spreading itself softly, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
You
why
know,
I thought, and
it
here it
makes,
is. And here it is, the yellow. Sally
yeah,
gave the yellow. Yeah,
that
you gave
yellow is
us the
so
yellow.
amazing. It made me think of sunflowers. I love sunflowers.
Oh,
Uh,
sure.
and
It
now
made,
prime. I've been seeing so many sunflowers.
yeah, that it made me think of sunflowers. Sunflowers always make me smile. They make me happy.
Yeah,
They
it's
just,
very important to have, you know, an object or a color or a tune, you know, and that's what we trying to say tonight, that we are a little trio of colors and smell
and
and sound, and
yeah.
trying to put it together. And you just have to dream of a brioche coming out of the oven and, you know, kind of
Mm.
Mm,
making
Compel
your
do,
feet
compel
warm.
do, compel do.
Yeah.
Compel do. So yeah, but to me, the whole concept of uh, of Sally painting while we tell our stories or just chit chat is intriguing because I'm curious to see what she's going to come up with. And
Well,
another,
that that's the suspense, you see. We have
yeah,
our own little suspense. Suspense is always important, uh, because that's kind of what really puts a little vibrant feeling in life. We need
mm-hmm,
that. Otherwise, if we knew everything, I think that would not have the same resonance, we would say in French. Yeah. Morocco, you were saying Morocco is things like the
s'il vous
sand,
plaît,
huh?
s'il vous plaît. I want to hear a story about Morocco. What was
Well,
your
that's what I
favorite?
was going to say about Morocco is the smell of the markets, the smell of the sand, the Sahara blowing into your little inside courtyard,
Yeah.
invading. I mean, it can be very powerful and scary. You know, that can be Morocco. And Morocco is cooking tagine in a beautiful tagine dish. Morocco is a grandmother taking hours to prepare a couscous when we modern, have a pre-cooked couscous grain, and
Yeah,
then
everything's so
he
fast.
looks
Everything
at us and said, no, 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 not good. That
so
that's not the way to do it. Or going to a market in Tisnit and you buy silver by the pound. Well, there they
right.
say by the kilo, and
Mhm.
you bargain and you bargain and you bargain and you drink mint tea in these beautiful silver with a beautiful silver teapot and these beautiful
Yeah,
ornate little glass uh,
fast
tinder
tea.
glass. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Morocco, and it's going slow. Taking your time, listening
Hmm.
to the water, maybe in some villages, or
Yeah,
yeah,
not
that
rushing. Enjoy,
it's going
savor.
slow.
Yeah, just savoring every moment. That the big one of the biggest memories I think, or my fondest memories, is when I went to the spice market.
Oh yeah.
That was amazing. I mean, so many spices, the smells and the textures, and I guess other different kinds of I guess it would be holistic um, medicinal um, treatments or kind of ointments and things. It was unbelievable. It was so. It was just something I'll never forget.
Yeah, we lucky in some in France, and we lucky even in some parts of the United States where there are ethnic groups that come from this part of North Africa that bring their marvelous spices and their beautiful tagine dishes, where you can experience that very sensation without going all the way to Morocco if you can't afford it, or for one reason or another you don't
Right.
go. We're very lucky, and they all have the same shape, this kind of looking like a pyramid in Egypt. So you have this pyramid,
Mhm.
you have these different kind of spices, and they look so beautiful next to all these different kind of olives, all
Yeah.
sorts of love.
Oh.
So
Oh.
you know, that's Morocco.
I
Yeah,
forgot about the olives and the lemons.
yeah, oh, yeah,
The
sure. And then,
lemon.
yeah,
Yeah. I completely forgot about that. You scratched that out of my head. It was just an experience for me, but I'm from as a chef, I just kind of wondered what the experience was like um, cooking. I assume you were cooking in a
no,
friend's home
in
in a
Morocco,
rock kitchen.
no, in Morocco, I'm very laid back. I stay with a friend that I've known for, oh, I hate to say, 50 years, and uh, and she has a great cook in her house, and so I kind of follow, I tiptoe very quietly behind this beautiful lady, and I go to the market with her, and I learn from her how she prepares things, and she chops things very gently and but quickly, but gently as a touch, and. No, I stay very much in the back, just
Oh,
observing.
okay.
Yeah,
Mostly learning, mostly observing.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, mostly observing. The other countries where I get much more active, like in Cambodia, then I am in a beautiful little boutique hotel, people say, but I cook. I prepare crepe for the morning breakfast, and I flip crepe.
Ooh,
Or I
crap.
do what you
Yeah.
call pain perdu, but my way of doing pain perdu is very different. I do it with toasted brioche with crème anglaise. It's like
Ooh.
Mm.
pastry cream and raspberry sauce and a poached egg at the end, and some fresh mint. So
Pain
everybody loves my crazy pain perdu.
Oh, do come out like that. Oh my God, with an egg?
An egg, but the
Oh,
egg is
yes.
cooked, it's on top. And then and it looks pretty because you have the brioche, and then that you see a little bit that is toasted. And then you see then the crème anglaise that is wrapping it, and then a little drizzle of raspberry sauce,
Hmm.
uh, and then the fresh mint on top. And I always love doing that. Actually, I started it at the restaurant that when my son owns now, the Spring Mill Cafe. And I started it because I had dropped everything one day for real pain perdu. So I had to start all over. So I looked at what I had in the fridge that could be interesting. And I thought, crème anglaise, raspberries, an egg, and the brioche. And that's how it became fun. It's a bit like the story of the tarte tatin, that the Tatin sisters dropped their tarte aux pommes one day, and here
Mhm.
they are all that stuff. So they put it back in, they put a dough on the top, and put it in the oven, and it became a tarte tatin that, you flip again the other way. So it's like
Ah,
a two-way flipping story. But a lot of new dishes are created that way. And I'm sure singing is the same. Maybe suddenly you change note, and maybe you
oh
shouldn't
yeah.
have, and then you adjust. Nobody really notices it because you created a new tune. Who
Created
said
something
it should
different.
not be there?
Yeah, but I mean that's what especially with jazz, that's what jazz is.
Yeah,
Jazz is taking the old and creating something new, or taking the old and like you season food with spices, you add spices to this song to just not change it, but to just make it taste different.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
the song.
And,
Yeah.
and
Same with
where are you at with that concept with you when you paint, Sally?
When I paint, I just have a color in my head and I just start working with that color and adding on to it. Try to layer various colors to make them a little sweeter, a little deeper, a little more textured as I go.
Do you have in your mind an idea of where you're going to go, or you just let it flow?
I'm just letting it flow.
Oh, nice. Nice.
And sometimes I'll have an idea and it will become something completely different.
But it starts first with the emotion of the color.
Yes.
Nice. That sounds so
You
good.
know, like some people, yeah, I remember once a very famous pianist, but unfortunately I forgot his name, and he said that when he plays, sometimes because of the color that either he has seen on some ladies in the front row or something that flashes in his mind, and his interpretation changes completely. And I thought, well, that's amazing. You know, you're talking someone that I imagine strictly trained in a classical manner, and to imagine that in a moment of a recital, say at Carnegie Hall, suddenly a lady has a flamboyant eggplant-like colored dress, and you know, his mood just changes, and you know, and I thought, wow, that's amazing. This very serious man in a suit, you know, with a black shirt, like it's fashionable to be now, no tie, but you know, a very approprié kind of outfit, kind of exploding and changing suddenly. But he said, but if you really followed me, maybe you never noticed it. But for him, something happened. You know, so when you said I start a yellow, here we go. The yellow becomes, you know, a volcano of things, and that's beautiful.
The improvisation of it all.
Excuse me.
The improvisation of it all.
Yeah, here we go.
It happens in jazz.
Back to where
same thing happens in jazz improv. I remember one time I did a concert and someone asked me to do "My Way" by Frank Sinatra, which of course is a French song. So someone asked me to do Sinatra's version of "My Way," and I couldn't for the life of me remember all the words. So that is when I made a management decision. I said, I'm going to sing this song, but I'm going to make up my own words. And so at the end of the evening, a couple of people came over to me and said, "Oh my God, I never heard that rendition of My Way. It was just amazing. I never heard those words before." And I laughed and said, "And you probably never will."
And you probably said, "And I never did either until tonight," right?
Right?
Because they pop up out of you.
It's so funny.
That's good. Yeah,
But I
good.
like it because, you know, it's on the spot. It's kind of like you come up with different things on the spot. And when you're standing in front of an audience of 2,000 people, you have to just like let it flow. Like with your painting, you just let it flow, and whatever comes out, you know, you go where the music takes you.
Well, yeah, in food there is a crazy story that is beautiful of Julia Child on a show that dropped the chicken on the floor, and knowing Julia Child, she picked up the chicken, wiped it a little bit, and here we go, back in the oven, you know. And you know, I know that these days it's probably not the right thing to say, but excuse me, you know, the temperature in the oven is very high, so you know, any monsters is dead in no time.
It's dead,
and
right?
do respect Julia Child.
You're dead on contact. It's the 10-second rule. If it touches the floor and you pick it up before 10 seconds, it's fine.
It's
Oh,
all
it is? Oh, I didn't know about that rule. Oh, I see. Thank you for that new rule.
Well, that,
Yeah.
that was the rule when we were growing up as kids.
Oh, you really? Ah,
Yeah, you dropped it on the floor. Either it was the 10-second rule, or you picked it up and you kissed it up to God and you ate it anyway.
oh. And where did you grow up?
I grew up in West Philadelphia. I'm a West Philadelphia girl, born and raised. It's a really interesting community. A lot of good stuff comes out of West Philly. A lot of music artists, musicians, singers
Mhm,
come out of Philadelphia and West Philly in particular. Like Will Smith. Will Smith is from Philadelphia,
mhm.
both West Philadelphia.
my
And
mother grew up in West Philadelphia.
you did?
My mother
Oh, your mom. Ah, okay. Where
Ah,
did she grow up?
on Christian Street, like
Oh,
52nd and Christian.
that's not
ah.
far from me. That's not far from me at all.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
like 10 minutes to walk.
Oh, yeah. So if it's
Yeah,
walk, that's
yeah,
My,
nothing.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's nothing.
Yeah.
10, 10 minutes to walk. Yeah. But it's an interesting neighborhood, a lot of music, a lot of
Have you
activity,
been
a lot
singing?
of
Out of
Have you
art.
been singing in some places up in West Philly? I
have,
remember what you took me to. Remember?
oh yeah, you went to
But
Booker's.
yeah,
We
but then another one a few
we went
years ago,
Le
the
Cochon
bigger
Noir.
place.
Le
Huh?
Cochon Noir.
Le
Le
Cochon Noir.
Cochon
Uh-huh.
Wait, Cochon Noir.
Yeah, that
Which
was very
Oh,
nice. It
Yeah,
still
that was
exists.
really nice. It's gone now.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, it's
Mm.
gone now, Tata, but it was nice, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, I
And then
remember.
the young chef, Daniel, I really liked his approach to cooking. He's still cooking now. He's still doing it now. But I liked his approach to cooking because he didn't mind experimenting at
Hmm.
all. Like he made me this dessert with blood orange and I think it was blood orange and blackberries and something else and some kind of liquor, and that was amazing.
yum.
It was so good. So
And here we are with all these colors again. When you tell the different ingredients, we
yeah,
back into the colors of Sally, colors
mm,
of sunshine and light. Yeah.
right. So what's your favorite? I mean, we all have our favorite like experiences in terms of the things that we do, but what's your favorite memory cooking? Like what was your favorite place to visit and cook? And what did you cook?
Well, I did. Some of my favorite was in Russia,
Ooh, I love Russia. Oh my God.
crossing Siberia, took the Trans-Siberian train.
Yeah.
So
That
an experience that one related to food, one is not, but it's a good experience to have. I'm in a train and I'm of course in the cheap seats because I want to really be with the Russian people, and I want to be with a tea being served in that big samovar at the end of the corridor. I want people to open their bag and eat and share food with you. So that's a good part of a long journey. But because Russians tend to uh, used to, so that they won't be mad at me, used to drink and smoke too much in the train. You cannot drink any alcohol and you cannot smoke. So the train stops very often so people can get off and smoke on the platform. And
mm-hmm.
I speak Russian and I'm okay with Russian, but for some reason I did not hear the conductor very well. And when he said uh, 15 minutes stop, I understood 50. So when I got off the train, I walked around in the village and I saw dogs and I saw people and I chatted with people. And suddenly I heard the noise of the train pulling off. And by the time I turned around and walked a few steps, the train was gone. And I screamed and I tried to stop it, but of course the train didn't stop. So I went to the train station, talked to the train master, and then the train master was kind of angry at me and he told me to get in the car and he said, "So you were trying to escape?" And I went, "Escape?" I said, "You got to be kidding." I said, "No, I'm not escaping. It's the train that escaped me." So here we are in the car and we drive real fast to the next train station. And I understood now he's trying to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
And we arrive at the major train station, and he puts me in a corner saying, "Don't escape again." And then I am in front of a huge man who is a train master of the second train station. And he explained that this woman is trying to escape, so we have to put her on that train in the hands of the woman who is in charge of my compartment. So the train arrives, and I have all these Russian people waving at me, being so happy that, I was found since I was trying to escape. And I got back on the train, and it was amazing. So when I got back on the train, I really needed a drink, but as you know, no drinks. So I thought, when I'm sick and tired of eating my crackers and things that after a few days, it gets boring. So I said, well, I'm going to go to the dining car and I'll have some fish. So I had some salmon and I ordered tea because there was nothing else I could have. And the waiter, with a big wink in his eye, put two cups in front of me, two identical cups. And I said, "Why is he giving me 2 cups of tea? I only want one." So I tasted one. It tasted like tea. I tasted the other one. It's straight vodka. He knew the lady after what she went through. She needed
He
something
needed a
stronger
drink.
than tea. So I had a friend now, all the way to Vladivostok. No, not I stopped in Ulan-Ude. All the way to Ulan-Ude. Every time I went to the dining car, I had salmon, 2 cups, and one was tea, but one was vodka.
Vodka. Oh my God,
And I
that's
thought,
hilarious.
that is so great. And then my second story is Vladivostok, where I worked in a very fine restaurant called, in English, Milk and Honey. So I was in charge of creating new pastry with the pastry chef, and I was helping them create new tarts and vegetable savory tarts, you say in English. And so I had a beautiful experience. I was in a family where the children was raised to become models, so therefore they didn't eat very much. They were very tall and very skinny, like spring beans.
Yeah.
But
Uh-huh.
but the father was, of course, some kind of oligarch. But he was very interesting, and he wanted to be on his own, and he loved to swim in the ice, and he loved the tigers that were owned by Putin in a big dacha in the north of Siberia. And then one day he said, "I feel like being in nature. Do you like tigers?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I mean, if they are far away from me, it's okay. I mean, how much do I like tigers?" Right? And he said, "Let's go and see Putin's tigers." So we got in the car and we went, and we drove for a long time, and we were at the dacha, Putin's dacha, to be seeing the big tigers. And yeah, they're big. So that was an amazing experience being with these people and in the restaurant. They're everybody, a very good team. We work together and they love to learn new things. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
Wow.
So
Well, I
these
had
were very good memories. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I had a great time in Siberia. I was in Tuva,
Uh-huh.
And
Oh,
I
yeah, that's north of Ulan-Ude.
wait, so I had
That's
to,
Buddhist country.
yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
I had an opportunity to hang out with the shamans, and
I stayed in a shaman's family.
yeah, that was amazing. It was just it was
It was a
almost like a spiritual connection. I felt so connected, and no part of that visit felt unfamiliar. It all felt so familiar, and like I didn't feel like a stranger. They taught me how to chop wood. I actually stayed in a tent.
oh,
I had to do a concert, and it was like Woodstock. But I
uh-huh.
didn't know when I got there. I was expecting to stay at a hotel, and they showed me this tent,
Like
this
it,
tent,
yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
and I stayed in this tent, and I bathed in the river, and I
Wow.
learned to chop wood, and I actually they boiled they made this soup, a traditional mutton soup, and they
Mm-hmm.
said that it was something that was for special guests, and they made this mutton soup,
Mm-hmm.
and they shared the meat, of course, but initially they gave me meat, and I noticed that nobody else was eating it, and I said, is everybody going to eat? And they said, well, the meat is for special guests, and we can't eat it unless we're invited to eat it, and
Wow.
so I invited them to eat the meat. But what was interesting to me is after the mutton was boiled down, they taught me how to read a mutton bone, like read a bone.
Huh?
Oh,
I held this bone up, and it could predict the future or whatever, and that was the most fascinating thing I'd ever experienced. So that's my Siberia story.
Great. With a shaman.
Bathing in the river, chopping wood, starting a fire, and reading a
Wow.
mutton bone, hanging out with the shamans.
Did you participate in the drumming?
I didn't have an opportunity to participate in the drumming, but I did have a chance to just kind of, hang out with the shamans. And, we didn't understand each other, but, you know, we
No.
understand energy. You
big
understand
Yes.
energy, and you
energy.
Yeah.
understand, yeah, you understand energy, and you understand vibes. So it was really nice. It was great. I had a wonderful time.
Good.
Can't wait to go back.
Mm.
But that was like my first real camping experience in a tent,
Mm.
uh, under the moonlight.
Mm.
It was crazy. It was just I was pumped up. It was the most amazing experience that I think one of the most amazing I've ever had. So,
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. And
and they
Sally, you have any experience linked to some of the travel through or for food or for colors or any stories you would like to share with us?
Um, Let me think about it for a minute.
Oh, sure.
I've
No.
been to several, nothing like Siberia.
Oh, but you don't have to go to Siberia to be with something beautiful. So,
yeah.
Experienced many beautiful places, and um,
Sorry.
the most exotic was Vietnam.
Ooh,
yes.
that sounds
Any stories of Vietnam?
Biking through the fishing
Ah,
villages
uh-huh.
and
cool.
steaming rain, and there was nothing to do but just continue biking. Like
Mm,
you couldn't care about your clothing getting wet because you were completely soaked,
mm,
and you were just in the moment.
mm,
You just had to be in the moment. And then
Mm-hmm.
finally it cleared up, and we had such beautiful food and spices, and the villages were so colorful, and the people were so accepting and inviting and warm in Vietnam. I mean, after what we did to them, it was
yeah.
pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
Forgiveness.
Right. But
Well,
that's
yeah, I
that's
mean, you have
that's
to
too.
go on,
Yes.
and there is also a mix of it was interesting for me in Vietnam to realize that someone asked me, do I know Victor Hugo's religion? And I thought, Victor Hugo's religion? And first I wondered what they meant. And they meant that they saw Victor Hugo through the French influence as a mix of Buddhism and Victor Hugo literary figures. So it was an interesting mixture that for them, they call it Victor Hugo, because for me, I don't think of Buddhism when I read Victor Hugo. So that was it was a whole different concept of, having like a father figure. Victor Hugo was a big man, powerful man, and an amazing writer. And that you had these young people, very young, talking to me about Victor Hugo, and I thought I knew Victor Hugo better than they did. Wrong. Really, they had felt something about power, about presence, probably godlike. I'm not someone religious, so I don't think of God that way, but I have a sense of God, but it's a God within me in terms of the sharing and the good and linking people together like we are tonight. But that really made me think, when these children started talking that way, what they were linking together is again what we're trying to link together despite differences. So, yeah, that was special. Yeah, very special. Very special.
I
So,
think it's really special when you have a group of younger people who have discovered something that you've known forever, and they see it with these fresh eyes. They see it with these new eyes, and even open the door to possibilities for you and the way that you might have looked at a thing, because I'm sure,
yeah,
you know,
definitely. Oh,
when
yeah,
you
because we get closed. We close the door by thinking we know, we close the door, but we don't know, or at least we should leave the door a little bit open or something. And we're not that good at doing it. I think I feel that. I feel that. Yeah.
yeah,
I agree with what you say. Yeah. I see, from far, I see beautiful colors, but also I see shape. I see a world actually. It's funny from far. I see a world. Either it's I do see shape that look at the world, at countries, that's
I
what I
see
see.
that pop of fuchsia, whatever that is.
Oh
It's
no,
really catching my eye. I
oh,
love,
yeah, it's
maybe when I
interesting.
was younger, I was an artist. I was an artist for a long time, and I left it by the side of the road. And sometimes I think that I might pick it up again.
Mhm.
But when I see people who paint or draw like Sally is doing, to me, it's just so intriguing. It's to just watch something come to life like that, to grow out of nothing, and these
Mm.
bursts of color, and my vivid imagination.
Well, it's like being in that museum I was in today with, at the end of his life, Matisse having a hard time and holding the pen, the brush, or
uh,
holding a very long stick because he had imagined that when he lies down in bed, he would like to have some beautiful outlines of his grandchildren so that when he is in bed, he sees the shape, the face of his grandchildren on the ceiling. Because he said this way he would not be lonely because they would always be with him. So here he had somebody help him with a long kind of broom holding his arm. So he drew on in the ceiling the shape of his grandchildren, the face,
oh,
and
that's
it was
beautiful.
amazing.
Beautiful.
You look up at the ceiling and you saw the three children that Matisse, would see when he lies down in his bed. And I thought, that's superb. But,
That
you know,
is.
yeah. You know,
That is so
that
beautiful.
beautiful,
Wow.
elegant, just a drawing, just a drawing. You know, that famous drawing of his, you know, there was a short movie of him drawing, and it's amazing. He starts slowly and starts the eyebrow, and then a little bit the eye, the famous eyes that we know, and a little for the nose, and a little kind of patch for the nostril, but very, very, very little. And then the mouth starts small, delicate mouth, and then a little bit curly hair around, and little patches of more tufted, like kind of like of hair around, and he finishes the chin. But it's just so easy. You look and you think, oh, and you know, it's not true. But when you look at it, so it's so beautiful and simple and elegant, and well, you're so
But
happy.
artists make it seem easy, just like you with cooking. You make it seem easy.
Yes.
Yeah, you just mix
First time that we
eggs
met.
and a little bit of chocolate and sugar and beat it well and let it really shape well and have body, pour, bake, and eat it, right?
But for me, I mean, I could just everything that you just said, a little bit of chocolate and some sugar and beat it, and then for me it's a catastrophe.
Maybe it will be a good painting. You use all these elements and dip a brush in it and start, you know.
Start throwing it on the canvas. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
who knows? You know,
But
who
I remember
knows?
when we first met, when you did a cooking class. You did a cooking class. And I don't remember what did you make a oh no, did you make a lamb shank? I don't remember what it was, but it was one of my favorites. Was it a bouillabaisse? No,
It could
no.
be the lamb shank tagine because I use lamb shank for the tagine because I like the idea that there is a bone and the meat
Yeah.
stays more moist, and plus it's a great piece of meat to eat if you're
Mhm.
meat eater. I think Sally will think of a more vegetable tagine, you know, with fabulous zucchini and peppers and beautiful small
Wow.
potatoes, piece of
Yeah.
pumpkin. That was, yeah, I
Mhm.
can. And
Pumpkin.
but delicious harissa, homemade, you know, homemade
Yeah.
harissa. Good. Yeah.
Ooh.
And
Yeah.
some coriander. How could we forget coriander? We need coriander. We need cilantro. Yeah.
That's
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Can't forget the green. Can't forget the green. And
absolutely
the lemons, the citron confit. We need the citron confit also.
a
So that
citron confit.
yeah, the citron confit, what do you call preserved lemons?
But
The,
oh,
is that sweet? Is it like
no,
a
when it is, no, it's preserved in salt.
we okay. Okay,
You see
yeah.
what I mean? But you
Great.
actually, it's interesting you say that because um, I did a cake which is called a flourless orange cake because of Passover. So it has become a cake that at the restaurant everybody loves. So I've kept it all the time. And I used to do, you know, regular flourless orange cake. And one day I thought, why don't I do these lemon, but I make them sweet? So I did it with honey and I let them marinate with honey.
Mhm.
And and then I sliced it and served it with a flourless orange cake. And
Mm.
uh, and it was very good. Usually you serve it with slice of blooded oranges, and that's marvelous too. But I really like the idea of the lemon because it had that mix, you know, the acidity was still
Yeah.
there, but the honey, you know,
mm,
is very mm,
Well, I do that with
unctuous, yeah,
oranges. I do that
yeah,
with oranges. I
like a
do
candy.
orange sections with honey.
Uh-huh.
That's
Yeah, that
really good.
would go well. Yeah, could
I
stay.
love that combination.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those
Cinnamon,
orange
orange
slices with that
cinnamon.
honey. Yeah. Sometimes I use the orange slices with honey. And you know what I like? I like Tupelo honey because it has a different taste, maybe. It has a
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It just has a sweeter or a heavier taste. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but I usually do that with the orange slices and a little nutmeg and vanilla and have it like a
Snap.
little
But
dessert.
I like the lavender. I like
Oh,
lavender honey. And then you can spread some lavender little blossom. And then you can have again, an ice cream, vanilla ice cream would be superb. Or just
yeah.
custard with a vanilla honey and little, uh,
Mm.
uh, yeah, little lavender flowers would be very good. I love
Oh,
the smell.
you made me think of one time I think I was in the south of France and the
Hmm.
lavender fields, the
All
lavender.
over. Yeah.
Oh my God, the fields of lavande, it was amazing. And then we had like a lavender candy,
Mm.
that lavender, a lavender bonbon. It was so good.
Sounds
Yeah,
so good.
where I stay in Tours, we're in somebody's house, beautiful property that used to be a monastery near the cathedral. There is a huge lavender bush right in front of my door. Now it's
Mm.
getting, because I've been so hot, the lavender is dying. So before it really died, my landlady made many, many little bags of all the dry flowers on the bush. So she distributes these little lavender bags to everybody, and then I give some to some people, and they say, "Oh, I put it in my closet. Oh, I put it in between my sheets. Oh, I put it in my
Mhm.
bed. Oh, I put it in my pillow." I mean, that was
Yeah,
so I
that's what
really,
I would do with mine.
Yeah.
I would put it in my pillow.
mhm,
And it seemed like I had some of the best sleep in the world when I did that. That lavender, that
mhm,
smell. Oh
uh-huh.
my, the best in the world. So what's next? What are you doing next?
Who is that? Me? What am I doing next? Well,
Yeah.
I've been taking care of my mother, and I've been staying longer in France because she's 99. So
Okay.
that's quite
So
an accomplishment.
amazing.
And then I've been doing programs, art programs, in terms of writing about them and publishing in little newspaper, following the footstep of Gauguin in Pont-Aven in Brittany. And I've been
Hmm.
the following the step of Victor Hugo in Villedieu, uh, learning things about Victor that I didn't know. You know, he had a mistress, and he would do beautiful randonnée in a little coach with his little horse, and so there were stories I had no idea about the man behind all these books, except of
Wow.
course I knew he was in exile for years and all that because he was against Napoleon the Third. But so
Right.
very interesting to learn more about a great writer, but I never learned about this private life very much. But it was not like the poor wife. No, the poor wife, after making many children with him, decided that is it. So she had her own little, maybe not an affair, but strong friendship with a famous writer. So it was like it worked out. You know, they've
It
been
worked
yeah,
out. She
they, you
wasn't
know, they
for a
each,
wife.
yeah, she said to him, that's it, you know, and they, of course they stayed together, but they were very independent and like, you know, very kind of modern kind of understanding of relationship.
Yeah.
I thought, well, that's pretty amazing. I never thought of
Especially
Victoria.
back
But
then.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Especially
yeah,
during that era. That's like unheard of.
yeah,
But
well,
I mean,
unless,
someone said
yeah,
that it's, in some cultures there's the wife and there's always the mistress
yeah,
someplace.
yeah, yeah, that's definitely not a rare incident.
Right,
But no, but it
exactly.
was fairly interesting in terms of the the power that this man had as a writer and the power that the French school system made it be in a way that was not part of the subject. When if it had been explained well, it was the opposite. I mean, you learn about an independent woman. we said, okay, I'm a mother. I have all these children. I think you're a great guy, but that is it. But of course,
Done.
I will take care of my. But I have a very good friend that I would like to be with sometime, and he said he had a great friend too. So, okay, that's pretty amazing.
So let's do this. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah. No,
You know,
yeah, it was.
you have a good friend, I have a good friend, and everybody's happy.
Yeah, it may not be, what you need to preach to everybody, but we each choose what's the best path for us, and
Well, yeah.
no judgment. I think that's the
No,
most important
you
thing.
can't, you know,
Judge.
that thing, it's a no judgment zone. You can't judge people for how they decide to live their lives. You
No,
know,
well,
it's
unfortunately, it's not
what
so
people do.
respected that you know
Yeah,
too
it's
many
what people
people
do.
can
But
advise you and
I think
criticize. Yeah.
live and let live.
Hmm.
You know,
Well,
whatever.
that's what music does. That's what cooking is art linked. That's why we link together again because we want to express it and we want to share it, and
Hmm.
we respect who we are and we like who we are, so we can like another one. But we have to start with us, and then we can understand the other one. I think it's
Wait.
important.
Yes, sir.
How are we doing? Are we
Mhm.
looking at the how is the work doing?
It's
Said
coming.
to you,
Wow. It's
I like
really,
the
I
colors.
really, to me, we are seeing a world of patches of, it becomes a world. Is it a new world map? To me, from where I am in a little town in northern France, through an equipment that I don't really understand how I can see you in Philadelphia painting, how is
Amazing.
happening. I'm really like a child who wonders what's going on. Um, I see a new map of the world. Have you
Wow.
created a new map of the world? I kind of see
Is that what
England
it
somewhere,
is?
and I see Ireland somewhere, and they have moved around a little bit. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I
Yeah.
mean?
I can see.
I see
It looks
Scandinavian.
like a house to me. I don't know what it looks like. It looks like I can't tell.
All right, Sally, you have to help us out. You have to come in, or maybe
Yeah.
Denise should sing, and it would help us be less foggy, or at least I should talk about myself. What
I
do you
could.
think?
I would love for you to say. I am.
We can paint a picture.
It still has a long way to go, but it's
Mm.
We can paint a picture with a long way to go. We can paint a picture, and Sally will show us where this painting's going. We don't even know, but so far we love what we see. That's my little improvised song.
Oh, that's great.
it's so beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
Look at that.
I really, I really love it.
Yeah.
Did you make any?
Can you send us?
I'll
Mm,
send it to you.
yeah.
I love it. I love those colors.
Mm.
It's one that I
It
just
makes
used earlier in the week.
Oh, wow. That's an explosion.
Yeah.
yeah. Wow. It looks like somebody dancing maybe.
Made me think of that, my crazy pain perdu. I see, I
And
see
it says in here, I
raspberry.
want to play.
Ah,
I call it inner child.
ah, ah,
Nice. Nice. So
wow.
beautiful. Wow. Look at that.
But this,
Yeah.
it's sort of evoking a tapestry, which is what I heard when I was listening to your stories, because you both are weaving such a tapestry with your experiences and your many travels and the many people and the many adventures that you're holding on to
Mm-hmm.
and sharing with all of us.
Mention it. It does look like a quilt.
Yeah.
Like a quilt. Yeah.
And I love what you had said that one time, Denise, about leaving things on the side of the road. You look at life, you know, as you travel down the road, and you have to let go of some things. They've got to come off the
Yeah.
map so that you can continue on.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because some things you have to leave because sometimes they may no longer serve you. Sometimes they may be too heavy to carry, and sometimes you leave them so that you can pick something else up, but you leave them there for somebody else.
Somebody else.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that. Look at that. Bravo.
Much fun.
Yeah, we should do this every week.
I know.
Now that we are getting better, at least I should speak for myself, in knowing what we're really doing with these equipments, because that was my problem all along. But as April said, it's not a problem. It is easy. C'est facile. Faut pas vous inquiéter.
Yeah. So, but it's good.
It's
This
good.
is
Good.
this is a new news, so we all have to get used to it.
It's
Yes.
true.
I would love to do this again.
I would too.
Well, okay.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
thank you. Probably we're ready to say merci and think of a good way to make the world colorful and hopeful, and to our children, if we have any, or grandchildren and friends, that we want to give these same moments to them as the moments we've had together now.
Yeah, that's true. We leave things red and yellow and pink and green, purple and orange and blue. I can sing a rainbow. I can sing a rainbow. You can sing a rainbow too.
That was so beautiful.
Ah.
Thank
Alors, pour une très,
Ah.
très, très bonne nuit.
Bonne nuit, ma
Bonne
tata.
nuit.
Bonne nuit, gros bis. Gros bis.
Bonne nuit.
Bonne nuit. À
Bonne
tout à
nuit.
l'heure. Ciao,
À
ciao.
bientôt.
À
Many
bientôt.
more.
Merci encore, Sally.
Ah oui.
Merci. Je
Merci.
t'aime.
Moi aussi. Au revoir.
Au
Au
revoir.
revoir. Au revoir.